Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. On today's show, we have Jan Denneman. Jan is the founder and chairman of the board at Good Light Group, as well as the honorary ambassador for the Global Lighting Association. The Good Light Group, which we're going to get into, is a non-profit organization which promotes the use of good light indoors. Good light is natural daylight or electric light. Well, we're going to get into all that. Apparently, he knows a lot about this kind of thing. 40 years experience in executive roles. Worked at Philips, now Signify. And founded several international consortia like the Global Lighting Association, JAGA. Ooh, a lot of good stuff here. The Connected Lighting Alliance, Lighting Europe, president of the Global Lighting Association, 2007 to 2017, president of Lighting Europe, 2013 to 2017. We're going to talk to him in 1 second, Greg, but first we got to get original here for a second, buddy. We got to go back to the originals at Energy Focus. That's ENERGYFOCUS.com, energyfocus.com, Greg.
Yeah, and the original word we talked about started with flicker free. They have flicker free. That's just a constant in all of their product. That's something that they always have. They don't do anything other than that. Number one, that's important. But now they have this InFocus product. Of course, it's flicker free, right? But what InFocus does is a most simple, easy to install lighting control, human-centric lighting control system that has different color temperatures, different dimming, all built right in, and you can use your existing fixtures. Easy. With the
We
tube.
have it. We have it right here in the studio. That's right. And you know what I love about InFocus? They captured it from the beginning. Tuning is to 2021 what dimming is to 1969. As soon as everybody knows that they can tune very easily, they will use it for sure. And of course, Greg, we got to thank the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. Get educated, get associated. But for right now, nice to meet you, Jan.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Jan,
Greg.
yes,
Hello.
nice. Good to see you, and thanks for coming on. One constant I see when I was reading your background, and Michael said it there too, is the word founder and leader. Just about everything you've done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. And also, I spent a lot of time, of course, in the business, but at a certain moment, you have to take the lead as well.
So
and
give
I
us
did it. I did that, for example, at a certain moment, my company at that time, Philips Lighting, now Signify, asked me to represent them on the board of directors of what's now called Lighting Europe. At that time, it was the European Lamp Association. And at a certain moment, that's a pre-competitive discussion between competitors, and you need to work from a vision. And at that time, our vision was mainly energy efficiency, energy saving. If you talk 10 years ago, of course, with LED products, energy efficiency, energy saving for the customer, but also against global warming, and it's very important, was the main theme. So we put that on the map. And also with LEDs, you needed to come to new platforms, new standards. So at a certain moment, we took with a few companies the initiative to start ZAGA. It's a standardization group for modules for LED drivers, and also the Connected Lighting Alliance at a certain moment, because we understood that LED asked for much more complicated and sophisticated control systems. So we started the Connected Lighting Alliance. But since a couple of years, I'm officially retired from my company. I thought the work is not finished yet, because with the Global Lighting Association and also with Lighting Europe, we always have put human-centric lighting on the map, on the roadmaps, on the strategic roadmaps of the industry. But it's not happening in the market. There is no human-centric lighting in the market. And it's such a shame. So that's the reason that we started 2 years ago a non-profit organization that's called Good Light Group, with the title Good Light, because we think that that's a name that the general public could understand at a certain moment. Good light. It's much easier to understand than human-centric lighting or biophilic lighting. So that's the reason of, at a certain moment, I personally believe that if you are with a group of companies, you need to take leadership to bring mankind further, uphill. And the last initiative was because the lighting industry has so much to offer, bringing healthy lighting to the people, and it's not done yet. So we thought, let's help with the Good Light Group.
Well, I got bad news for you. You know what it is?
Tell me.
I've been talking to all
No?
the scientists about all this sort of stuff, about and what I've determined is that it's very clear that we know how to hurt people with bad lighting. Like you could create a system where you could hurt people, but it's not so clear that we can actually help people with lighting if we do not restore natural darkness in our society. I think that the real key to me, Jan, when you talk about human-centric lighting, you can do whatever you want. You could have the most sophisticated lighting system possible, but if you're suffering from a light trespass, or you're staring at your phone all night, or you're doing all these other things, you're going to sabotage all of the benefits of any human-centric lighting system. So I think the lighting industry needs to change its focus, its paradigm, from providing light to providing both light and darkness. And we need to really embrace that.
I fully agree with you, Michael. Yeah, good light means a lot of light during daytime and a lot of darkness during nighttime. That's also how we define good light. Good light is light that's really good, and that means that all people in the whole world, when they have an indoor job, they're sitting in too much darkness during the daytime, and they have too much light during the nighttime. And then we don't even talk then about light pollution at night and so on. That's also terrible. But I fully agree with you. It's a double-sided sword. Yeah, it needs to be light during daytime and it needs to be dark at nighttime.
And
absolutely, fully agree.
I think all of the benefits too, like when I read about the benefits of whatever you want to call it, photobiolic or human centric, circadian, whatever the name is, integrative. There's all these different terms out there.
Good. But call it good.
Good, yeah, good. That's a good lighting. But the only benefit of good lighting, which includes darkness, thank you, is that you get better sleep. When you get better sleep, all the other benefits that they're talking about are available to you. So I believe like the mood, the higher productivity, all this other stuff is secondary and as a result of sleeping better. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, spot on. That's the way it works. It's good if you have good light during daytime, you sleep better, and that gives all the derived benefits from that. Absolutely, 100% clear. And why is light so important to have a good sleep? In order to have a proper sleep, your body needs to be ready for sleep. So all the hormones in your blood, in your body, need to be ready for the night. Especially, it's very complicated. There are two main hormones. Yeah, that's melatonin. That's the hormone of the night, or the sleep hormone, some people call, and the daytime hormone.
Is it serotonin?
No, it's not cortisol. I come back. That's the stress hormone during daytime, and that hormone shift is steered most importantly by light. And so light sets and triggers or synchronizes your biological clock. That makes your body ready for the night. And of course, when you are the whole day in your studio, or have an indoor job, working in a hospital or in a school, or wherever, all indoor places, they have biological darkness. So your body does actually not know what the time is. Because you need that light trigger to give time information to a few cells in the center of your brain. And they give information to all your organs and to every cell. And that's not typical for humans. That's typical for all living species on Earth.
I want to ask you, what is that kind of communication called? So like that's, I used to hear, we only use 10% of our brain. Nonsense. You're not telling your stomach to digest your food. You're not. These are. What is that? Is there a name for that kind of communication in your body, which is like I don't know, conscious communication? What is that? Is there a name for that?
I think it's called the circadian rhythm.
Yes, that's
So
the
the
rhythm of it.
circadian, yeah,
But the messages
yeah,
and the signals, I wonder
yeah,
if there's a name for that, because all animals have that, right? All
yeah,
species have this.
yeah,
Even the bacteria, they're responding to light, they're responding to the saltiness of
absolutely,
the
yeah,
water,
yeah,
all sorts of
yeah,
different things. There has to be a name for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Definitely is, but I have to apologize. I don't
Yeah,
know right now.
me neither.
Yeah, but the system, yeah, like you said, it's in all living species, because we all have to deal with the fact that it's partly dark and partly light. Yeah, but the humans, Homo sapiens, yeah, is the only living species that is not living outside. 90% of our time we spend indoors. So we shield ourselves from daylight, which is very unnatural. And that happened a couple of thousand years ago already in some smaller amplitudes. Yeah, when our ancestors start becoming farmers and so on, they start building little huts, yeah, little villages, and then they became more and more inside. But after the Industrial Revolution, 200 years ago, 250 years ago, there was hardly any need for humans to go outside. So at that time, we really shielded ourselves from the daylight and from the stimulus that daylight gives. And the way it works is only recently discovered in the year 2002, I believe, so-called IPRGCs, intrinsic photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, were discovered on the retina of the eye, and they were not really connected to the vision center of the brain, but to the clock center of the brain. And those cells were discovered. People before thought that those cells were in existence, but now they were first discovered. Even in the year 2018, I believe, 2017, three people got the Nobel Prize for medicine
Yes.
for their discovery. So
Yep.
it's really, it's crucial.
It's as big as
It's
it's
very,
as big as the Higgs boson discovery. That discovery.
absolutely, yeah,
It is.
absolutely,
It's
yeah.
as big as the Higgs
And
boson.
yeah, yeah, but we're still all sitting in darkness. And
But
so
no.
the
But then people have been instructed to put sunglasses on, and this is
outdoor, not indoor.
yeah, but outdoor. But when they're outdoor, the sunglasses also prevent this kind of healthy interaction with daylight from happening. Now there are people
No,
that
no, no,
that
no, no,
need.
no. Yeah, not completely. If you look, because the reason that people think that indoors it's not dark but light
Mm-hmm,
is the fact that they can see well.
mm-hmm.
Indoor, you can usually all indoor places during daytime are lit that well that you can do your visual jobs. But the light intensity indoor is around a couple of hundred lux. Outdoor, in the sunshine, it's 100,000 lux.
Mm-hmm.
In the shade, in the summer, it's still 20, 30,000 lux. If you put on sunglasses, that filters 80 to 90%. You still have, behind your sunglasses, still 10,000 lux outdoor on a sunny day. If you put on your cap, that cap
Mm-hmm.
filters also 50%. You still have 5,000 lux. That's at least 10 to 20 times more than indoors. So when you are outdoor, put on your cap, put on your sunglasses, and you still have the healthy work from daylight.
I'm going to make you a bet. Within
Okay?
10 years, there will be scientific proof that sunglasses cause major health issues in humans. I'll make you a bet on that. Within
Okay,
10
okay,
years.
yeah.
I'll bet
Okay,
you a beer.
okay.
I'm betting you a beer.
Okay,
A Dutch
okay, good, yeah.
I'm betting
Okay,
you a Dutch
excellent,
beer.
excellent.
I'm telling you. I
Excellent.
believe that
Yeah,
100%.
excellent. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, but still, today a lot of scientists already say that the darkness that we all are indoor, every day, makes us sick, makes us sleep bad. And then I would like to come back to that sleep factor, that sleep issue. Because people say, I sleep well. I've been the whole day indoors, yeah, and I sleep well. Of course, you think you sleep well because you fall asleep because you're tired from the whole day work. But that doesn't mean that your sleep quality is well enough. That the deep sleep has to go with waves. If the waves are deep enough, and it's proven that if your biological clock is synchronized with the real time, your sleep quality is much better. So people think I don't have that problem with that circadian rhythm, that the biological clock. Yeah, they think they don't have the problem because they have no clue what good sleep really means. And if you sleep well a couple of weeks during daytime, you feel like you said, then you get the derived benefits. During daytime, you're more energetic, you're fitter, you are more upbeat, your mood is better, that kind of things. Also, your immune system is better. When your body is synchronized with the real time, it has only benefits. And there's also a lot of scientific proof that a lot of diseases have to do and are connected with not well synchronized biological clocks of people. And as said, it yields for more than 90% of the world population. So we are with 7.5 billion, I believe. So it's an issue of more than 6 billion people. And we from the Good Light Group believe that this should be the number one and the number two and the number three priority of the lighting industry, of the lighting design community, of the real estate community to change this. Because changing is very simple. The technology is there. LEDs have been developed, I think, for this purpose.
Okay, I want to ask you something, and I want to just clarify what you mean, because I'm of the opinion that the lighting industry, okay, its entire focus should be on the reestablishment or on regaining natural darkness. Okay. So I think all of the resources in the lighting industry should go to solve the issue of not having enough natural darkness. So that includes dark skies, street lighting, all this sort of stuff, because we have a massive light pollution issue. Okay. Is that included in what you're saying, or is that separate?
Yeah, because of course that needs to be done. Darkness is important because your body expects light and darkness. But there's a bigger issue than the light pollution for human health, and it is the lack of light during daytime. And then, if you are the whole day outdoor in the weekend, if you spend the whole Saturday outdoor, then it really doesn't hurt your body if you then look in the evening a couple of hours to a screen, also not when it's very closed. Because your body already knows what the time is, what the clock is. The reason is that all that night light, the lack of natural darkness at night is so bad for our health is because we are the whole day in darkness. So your body is anxious looking for time information given by light. So if at night the first thing is if you look very close to screens for 2 hours and your body starts saying, finally light, so it must be morning. So let's suppress the melatonin hormone. And let's push up the cortisol hormone, the stress hormone. That's what's happening. And what we basically, in a simple term, propagate is that during daytime, the light levels need to be roughly 5 times higher, and at night, 5 to 10 times darker than currently is the situation. So I fully buy your plea for natural darkness, absolutely important. But I think for human health, if we only reduce the darkness, it doesn't help us synchronizing our biological clock. We need more light during daytime.
So you're saying right now, I've heard the other way, that we're overlit in a lot of situations, and indoor facilities? You're saying a lot of them are underlit and need to provide more?
All are underlit. There is nobody, there's no place indoor that is sufficiently lit.
Okay.
Except if you have a desk very close to a window, facing a window within a meter or so, yeah, within 3 feet from a meter from the window, then you probably have enough natural daylight coming through. But the electric light levels are perfectly okay for vision aspect. That has also been the basics for the norms. Yeah, all the regulations on lighting levels are based on vision. And the reason is all those regulations and norms and standards have been developed before this important discovery was made in the start of this century. Now we have to rethink it. Unfortunately, that's good to mention. End of last year in November, there was a study published from 18 worldwide scientists in this field, chronobiologists, neurophysiologists, sleep doctors, and so on, psychiatrists. And they have now together recommended the minimum levels of light during daytime for indoor. And we have adopted them immediately as good light group, of course. We also have specified what good light is. And as a basics, what you need is at least 1,000 lux at eye level. Yeah, you think that's a lot. I see you're looking, Michael. Yeah, I think that's a lot. But if you are outdoor, yeah.
Okay, I sell light bulbs every day. Okay, I do that. Okay, so Greg and I, as soon as we leave the studio, we're out talking to people about lighting. Okay, I don't know if people are going to deal with 1,000 lux at their eyes indoor, Greg. I don't know.
No, that's of course they are not accustomed to it. They have to, but outdoor, yeah, the minimum level in summertime that you have in the shade and between your eye,
I
then
understand.
10,000 lux minimum.
But that's a different kind of light. That's the light from the nuclear reactor that we're spinning around, okay? So we're spinning around this nuclear reactor and it sends this certain kind of light that is, creates all life on Earth. I don't think Philips can create any life with their light that they make or anybody else. So how do we know that we can create the same quality mixture and, spectral and all this sort of stuff as the sun? Like that seems like a playing God here, Jan.
That report, you can find a link to the report on our website, goodlightgroup.org, also specifies that. Because there's a certain spectrum that really is important to trigger the IPRGCs, intrinsic photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. I call them always spheres, because IPRGCs, that's a difficult word. I think people from biological class, they remember rods and cones in the retina. Do you know that, rods and cones?
Yeah.
They are sensitive cells for vision. So next to rods and cones are also spheres that are responsible for the biological clock. And the spheres have two characteristics. They need much more light, what you just discussed, at least 5 to 10 times more light to be triggered than the rods and cones. And they are also more sensitive to blue light. And they call that melanopic light, the melanopic spectrum. So that's specified.
How much time do you need? How much exposure do you need per day to cause the good effect? Is there like a minimum exposure time?
Yeah, I think a couple of hours.
Oh, it's that much. Because I was going to say we should make like a device that everyone has on their desk and they just look into it and it's got like all this crazy light. And you do that a couple times a day and you're good.
No, that was, for example, half an hour is not good enough because then you could write a labor laws. People should send their employees outdoor for half an hour for lunch walk. If that would do it. If that would be the case, then there is no opportunity for the lighting industry, then they can continue with the way they have been practicing the last decades with electric light. No, you need more. Yeah, a couple of hours. It depends also a little bit on the intensity. If the intensity is a little bit higher, it can probably be lower. And the reason is that the system that triggers your biological clock, your circadian rhythm, is by design, by evolution, a slow system because it does not want to be fooled. Yeah, if you suddenly get a spike of light, yeah, and then your body thinks it's 9 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, that's not good. So your body wants to be sure, yeah, that was not a sudden light event from a fire or so. No, this is really the light coming from the sun. Yeah, it was to be consistent. So that's the reason that process lasts a longer time, a couple of hours, yeah, 2 or 3. And it doesn't hurt to sit the whole day, yeah, until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon in that bright light. But from 5 o'clock, latest 6 o'clock, dim the light. Go back to the normal levels. Go back to your natural darkness. And avoid light at night. Yeah, because that's also historically. Our ancestors, at night they were resembling around a campfire or whatever. Yeah, and so they
So
had very low light
I
levels.
understand what you're saying, and I know Greg. I could see his eyes. He's got a question, so I'm going to go right over
That's
to
good.
Greg. But I'm not sure that the lighting industry can deliver on that promise. I don't know. I don't know if we can deliver on that. Seems like a tall order because you have a whole supply chain, and then you have end user customers, and you got to convince them to multiply their light level by 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, and maybe other people that are listening to this are hearing, is that Michael's telling us we go to all the outdoor lights and take them all away, and Jan's telling us to go to the indoors and increase them. So everything's back in play. Everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way. Yeah, that's the way we should do it. Of
Wow.
course. Yeah, it's a difficult message. It's not an easy message. If it was an easy message, it was done. There's a reason why it's not penetrating in the market yet. But I believe that's also the purpose of the non-profit organization, the group, the Good Light Group, to make this known to the people. If people understand that good light is as important for their health as good food, we have made progress. Many people know that good food is good for your health.
Mm-hmm.
Not too fat, little variants, vegetables, not too much meat, not too much alcohol, that kind of things. People know that. And if you ask your neighbor what is good food, they have some notion. That doesn't mean that they always take good food. They also once in a while take junk food, of course, but they have a notion. Nobody has that notion. And I believe, and not only I, but scientists believe that good light has as large an effect on health and well-being of people as good food.
I think more so. I don't even
Okay.
think I don't even think you can compare the two. I mean, if you look at something like I don't even think it's comparable. I think that good light is far more important than good food, but I'm not sure we can deliver it with electric sources. That would be my concern and why you're on the podcast and why we're having the conversation. But I like even vitamin D production, like the things that we're learning about our relationship to light and with the COVID-19 problem and people being stuck indoors and being low in vitamin D and getting more sick. Everything that every health ailment that's chronic, I bet you in some way is related back to light. Every chronic health
Yeah.
problem, I would say, has a relationship to natural or a loss of
Yeah.
light or something to do with
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You might very well be true in that Michael, and indeed, yeah,
Mm-hmm. We're
natural
creatures of
light
the
is the
light.
best.
We're creatures of
Yeah,
the light.
natural light is the best. So if we all would spend a couple of hours every day outdoors, then forget changing the light indoors because your body then knows what the time is. It's synchronized. It's perfect.
We can't do that,
but that's not realistic.
We can't do
That's not realistic. So what we do know is that the indoor light can be tremendously improved by cranking it up to trigger those cells, especially in the morning, with a little bluish white light for a couple of hours and early afternoon, and then switch it down to the normal levels. And there has been enough scientific studies that show that that has a beneficial effect on your sleep quality, and as a result of the sleep quality, on the energy level, on your productivity, or your creativity during daytime. And we know that. So why not trying to bring that message and create test examples? That's what we do as the Good Light Group. Is we create, we try to stimulate that our partners in the group, that they create example good light installations with people, with lots of people, and they start talking about it. You can find a few examples already on our website where they're talking about it. Just we have a new test out with an influencer on Instagram. She's testing it, what the effect of good light on the body is. Since I know this a couple of years, I do have my personal good light installation. There are a few manufacturers that provide it. And we all have that experience, how important light is, like you said, Michael. We are so shielded from nature, especially with respect to light, and light does not penetrate into the buildings well enough. And people, for example, if you talk to people who are on vacation, if you ask them after a couple of days or a week, how do you feel?
Better.
Many people say it's better. Yeah. And what's better? Yeah, I sleep better. I dream more. I feel more relaxed during daytime. I think that one of the major reasons is that on vacation time, you are more outdoor than usual. What type of vacation you have? It can be a beach vacation or going to a city. You walk more through the city. You're sitting on terraces, outdoor.
I think it also has something to do with oxygen too. I think indoor air is very contaminated with garbage too. I think there's a light issue, and I think that COVID-19 is just flying through buildings through the airways. Yeah. There's mold. If you've ever seen an old air filter from a commercial HVAC system, that should be treated as hazardous waste. I am not kidding you. Those things are absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
you would not believe what's on them.
Yeah.
So I think it's air too. It's light and air together.
It is absolutely. It's air and it's also sounds. So we are missing all those elements. So the natural sound of birds, or the wind blowing to the leaves of trees, or a little river or whatever. Yeah, that's also what we miss in buildings. Those natural connections. But if you look in buildings, the percentage of oxygen in the air in buildings is still roughly 18 to 20%. Well, it's the same as outdoor. The percentage of light in a building is a couple of percent of what is indoor. So there's much, if you improve buildings, if you want to improve buildings towards healthy buildings, I think you're better off with investing in light than investing extra in air. Because there's much more to gain in light, because we are sitting in darkness. I always say people are living in biological darkness the whole day. And we behave ourselves as diurnal animals, as nocturnal animals.
Nocturnal, yes.
We are diurnal animals. And we are supposed to be outdoors during daytime and active. That triggers our biological clock. And that's not triggered. And people have that problem. And they are not conscious about that this is the cause of their problem. But usually in the weekend, even after a weekend, people also not only on vacation, but in the weekends are usually more outdoors than during normal work days. And at the end of the weekend, they feel a little bit more relaxed because you can roughly reset your clock if you are having proper daylight for a couple of hours with roughly an hour a day. And what is the problem that you built up if you have a 5-day work week? Roughly, if you are not getting your daylight synchronization pulses to your brain, you build up a jet lag of roughly 15 minutes every day. So your body thinks it's 15 minutes earlier than it actually is.
So that's 5-0 or 1-5?
No, 1-5. So after a week, you build up a jet lag because it's cumulative of 1.5 hours roughly. So at Friday, you stand up. The end of the day, at Friday, you have a jet lag of 1.5 hours. In the weekend, if you're a lot of time outdoor, you can recuperate. If you're not outdoor on the weekend, for example, in winter time or it's raining, whatever, it starts. After the second week, you have 2-3 hour jet lag. And then, your sleep is not good and so on. And so you can compensate this with light. So we call good light, first of all, get daylight. So daylight is the best there is. We fully agree with that, but that's not realistic for roughly 5 billion people on Earth because they have an indoor job. Mm-hmm. So you need to help them, and people, not only people that have jobs, but also already small kids in schools and kindergarten. Kids on universities, they're all sitting in darkness. People in hospitals, people in care centers. We are all in darkness. And it's known that if your body is well synchronized with the real time, you heal better. The time that you have if you're hospitalized, scientific study shows, if you have good light situation in the hospital, you stay 1 day shorter. And they did that test. They compared people who were lying at a hospital bed on the south side of a building close to a window versus the north side of the building close to a window on our hemisphere. And on the south side of a building of the hospital close to the window, the average staying time in hospital during hospitalization was 1 day shorter.
Holy mackerel!
So that's the enormous effect of light on health and well-being.
Now, was there a specific? I'm just how you guys started the Good Lighting Group. Why? I know why a little bit. You're obviously passionate, but what was the reason that you got involved in, and what's all behind that?
I didn't see a serious attempt of the industry players, that's the manufacturers, that's the lighting designers, to really change this. They were too much looking at still continuing with sustainability focus, energy saving and so on. And so I saw the lighting industry really being pushed in the corner by their customers, by the building owners, the installers and so on, and customers in the corner of costs. It needs to be cheaper, the payback time needs to be shorter, blah, blah, blah. And that's
so get the accountants out of here. Too many accountants, bean counters. We need good light.
We need good light because we need to shift the focus from cost to value. Lighting is a value. We can sell value when you don't sell cost. And I didn't see that happen. So we said, let's start a group which are focusing on value creation. And the biggest value that lighting can give is not the cost reduction by energy saving. The biggest value that you can give to people indoor is making their life more present, giving them better sleep. And we all know, we have read it, that sleep is the most important factor to keep you healthy. Sleep was, until recent, very underestimated activity. It's one of the most important activities you can do to live longer and to live happier and to stay healthy. That's sleep. And the biggest trigger for a good sleep is light.
Well, they say bad sleep is worse than smoking. I'm not kidding you.
Absolutely.
But what's interesting is that I'm a darkness guy. Okay, I believe in darkness. So sleep is mine. You get the daytime. No, but I actually, I think that there is as we're moving forward in the 21st century, the lighting industry is leaving the accountants and bean counters behind, Greg. They are we are leaving them behind. They're right behind us. They're right behind us. But I think that we're turning a corner here, Ehrich. I'll turn it.
Yeah, that's something that you said earlier, Jan, was LED lighting was, I believe it was invented to save energy, to last longer and all that. But you said its real purpose is just being discovered. And that's where we're at now. And
I
that's
think
what you guys are
yeah.
about.
I always talk about the first revolution and the second revolution. The
Hmm.
first revolution of LED is indeed the energy saving and enabling connectivity, making it possible to make connected systems, so that through the lighting system you can even transport data, Wi-Fi and that kind of stuff. So that's the first revolution. But the real revolution has to come. That is, LED enables us to a little bit mimic natural daylight. Of course, it's never the quality of real daylight, but we can do much better than we're doing now, because the light now, this is not helpful at all for synchronizing. So, and LED are helpful because you can, in a sustainable way, crank up the light level with a specific spectrum for a couple of hours. You can also do that dedicated, personal, with smart systems. And this enables for all the industry players an enormous innovation wave. There are thousands of ways to create good light. It's not a one unique way. So this should trigger a lot of innovation. Unfortunately, there are already a few partners in the group that have prototypes and products on the market that really work well already. And that's good. And I hope that we can trigger that innovation and also trigger the curiosity of lighting designers, that they get interested in this theme, of building owners. And we have a two-way approach. So we approach a little bit through the value chain, but we also try to connect with the general public. And that's the reason that we call it good light and not biophilic light or circadian light and so on. So good light makes you healthy, like good food makes you healthy. And yeah, that's the motivation to do this, because I believe that otherwise, I hope to see that my children at a certain moment work in offices that are well lit, that they have in their home office, because of Corona, a lot of people work from their home office, that also at home people spend much more attention to good light. That's one of the problems in a lot of places on Earth. People had to work more from home. In the office, the light was not good enough, but at home, usually, it's even worse. And so that also at home, they pay attention to good light. And that my grandchildren at elementary school and kindergarten get good light. Because I'm sure they will be more healthy. They will have less problems with university and so on. So good light is so important that we create a group, and the group is also a cooperation between companies, lighting specifiers, and especially also scientists who believe in this.
And I see your mission here. It says 2025 is that 1 million people worldwide know about the beneficial effects of good lighting on the body and brain, and that 100,000 people worldwide live, work, and learn in buildings with good light.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I got a question.
That's our mission.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I call this the human-centric paradox. Okay, human-centric lighting's paradox. Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a confusion in the lighting industry between tuning and choosing and then circadian. So to me, those are separate things. So with if you want to have a system that is, circadian friendly or good in your case, it's prescribed to the person. They don't get to choose the light level. They don't get to choose the color temperature, right? As opposed to the idea of choice, which is I get to tune the lights to the color I want. I get to have the light level at the color I want. Those two are like shooting stars about to smash into each other. How do we, because listen, choice is a very seductive, and just like we talked about with energy focus, it's very powerful. Tuning is to 2021 what dimming is to 1969. As soon as people get those tunable boxes on their switches and they can change the color of the light really easily by sliding a bar, they're going to do it. But it's in conflict with what you're trying to do. That's in direct conflict.
Yeah.
How do we square that circle?
Yeah. That's the reason that you rightfully call it a paradox. It's not easy to solve this. To square the circle, or to
Square the circle.
square the circle, or to circle the square, whatever
Whatever.
you want to do.
Sure.
That's the reason that we have defined good light. We say good light is outdoor. Daylight, natural daylight. So that's the first thing. If you can get a couple of hours daylight every day, you're fine. And then if you go indoor, it becomes a big problem. We know that all current indoor light is not good. Even if it's dynamic with respect to spectrum or whatever color and so on. The intensity is far too low. It's still darkness. For your body, it's still darkness. And if the darkness is blue or the darkness is red, it really doesn't matter for your brain. It's still darkness. Your brain cells are not triggered by the spheres in your retina. We know that you have to crank it up. And there should be a requirement. At least people should get at least a couple of hours, 1,000 lux at eye level. And beyond that, it's a choice. Like good food is also a choice. Good food is not a very well-defined prescription. It's a mixture. So you need roughly at least 1.5 liter liquid every day. It can be water, it can be milk, it can be beer. Beer is not so good because of the alcohol. Beer. But people are free in that. So there is the freedom. The freedom is beyond the minimum level. The minimum level is that you have a couple of hours, at least 500 melanopic luxes or 1,000 normal luxes at eye level. And beyond that, there's a free choice.
Jan Denneman. Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it. Thank you for your work. I'm sure we could. There's a couple other things I did want to. Do you want to talk a little bit about JAGA? Is JAGA meeting its mandate? Has it failed? Those are my questions about JAGA. You know, I feel like JAGA was something we needed 15 years ago, and I feel like there's like a failure to launch with that. What are your thoughts on JAGA?
JAGA was started in 2010. I remember very well because I was, of course, at the first meeting in Madrid, in Spain. It's now 12 years old. And JAGA has gone through a journey. They have reinvented themselves recently. Because at the start of JAGA, especially the electronic control part was not very well integrated. It was more the light part. And they have reinvented them. So I think it's definitely not a failure. It's success. It's also needed because many people start understanding that you need platforms because it's far too expensive for a luminaire manufacturer to develop all components themselves. So you need standards.
Absolutely.
For
look,
modules.
All of the innovation in lighting, most of the innovation that I'm going to say this, that has been deployed has taken place within the mechanical form factors of existing fluorescent tubes. Okay? The reason why that is because the innovation was bounded into a mechanical form and you have to make it like that. And the innovation went crazy. It's when you have an endless palette that, you know, the most beautiful poems are sonnets that are written in iambic pentameter and have, you know, this many syllables and this many lines. And when you read them, you don't even realize that this is so strict. The rules of this are so strict that the best innovation is funneled where it belongs. And the innovation, people aren't wasting their time where they're going to put the screw hole. Or you know what? I really wish that we could really reestablish that firmly in the lighting industry globally, Jan, globally across the world.
So and JAGA is an attempt to that, and as a matter of fact, also the Good Light Group is an attempt of that because we try to define good light. What are the boundaries of good light, that it works, and what are the freedom aspects of good light? Because good light is not color tunable only. Good light is the right light at the right time. And the right light has to do with intensity, spectrum, the angle, the color, and so on. So it's there's a lot of parameters. But also there, I believe that there's a huge innovation opportunity in the realm of good light.
Jan, thank you for being a guest on the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. It has been our pleasure for sure, sir.
It was a pleasure. Yeah. So people who are interested, they can have a look at www.goodlightgroup.org.
And that will be posted on the Get a Grip on Lighting website. We'll share it on social media with all you people out there. But Greg, before you go, we have to start getting real original here quick, because we're going to energyfocus.com. That's ENERGYFOCUS.com. The original. What do you got, Greg?
And we heard it right here, the right light at the right time. That's what the N-Focus system can do. It has tunability, it has dimmability built into it. So you can change your color, you can change your intensity, and you can keep your fixture. Going with the Jaga and that discussion on your poetry, Mike, we keep the existing fixture that's above me, take out the fluorescent tube, put in the N-Focus tube, put the switch on the wall, no rewiring necessary, ready to roll.
And, of course, we can't forget the National Association. Zoom it in here, Scotty. The National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. That's right. Get associated, get educated. And, of course, Jan Denneman, goodlightgroup.com. That's G-O-G. Here it comes. GOODLIGHTGROUP.org. Goodlightgroup.org. Check it out. Thanks for listening, folks.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.